Welcome. We're having a look here at the MASTER18QR. It's a replacement for the MASTER12, which has been on the world market for probably 10 years or more. Referred to as a 12 volt operator. It's actually an 18, but people understand 12 volts somewhat simpler for some reason. In any case, that's what it's referred to, but it's where the old one was rated at 1.2 ton or 1200 kilo, this one's rated at 1800 kilo, that's 1.8 ton. It is really a commercial operator, with 100% duty cycle, no limit actuators, everything runs on encoder. It's got everything, but it's very, very popular with residential, simply because of its robustness, and it's not really that big. It comes complete with a brand new board, the one of the Diamond Series boards from Tau, the K126MA. The Diamond Series is so named because of the processor is a diamond shape. But what's important to us is that it's solar ready. It actually even has solar inputs. First control board I've seen with solar inputs. You simply change your jumper setting from mains power to alternative power, being solar, and wire your battery into the solar inputs, and you're ready to go on solar. And what the board does is it has a little bit of a shutdown phase where it reduces the amount of current being used to try and preserve your batteries. So anyway, we'll get into this and show you a few tips and tricks and show you around a little bit and go from there. That's your manual release, typical of most manual releases. You simply turn the key, pull the lever, and disengages the gearbox, and you can move the gate manually. Given that you really only have to add a 9 amp hour battery, and this operator has battery backup, the battery backup board's all built in, you probably won't use it very often. But it's worth noting that it has a little switch there. The switch actually cuts all power to the board. So if you do have it in manual mode, okay, and you have that door open, you will get nothing at all out of the operator. Everything is killed. Okay. We're looking there at the operator with the 126 MA board on there. It's a very early version. You can see the size of the motor. Setup, the rack of course is standard rack and pinion. As we go down the end here, you will see a limit actuator, but they're just purely sitting there. You don't get them in the kit. It doesn't use them. It uses the end stops. Now we have end stops on all sliding gates for safety. Everybody understands that they must be there for safety. But also this board would use them as a reference point to know where the ends are. So it measures where it is by first measuring where the end stops are, and then it knows where to slow down and where to stop from that point on. If we go down the other end, that one back there was our closing stop. Come up this end and we're going to look at our opening stop on the other end there. Okay, so stops are imperative. They have to be there for safety anyway, but they should be nice and solid. They shouldn't move, and this board or this motor will use them as a control point. Okay, next we'll have a little bit of a look at the control board, the K126MA. Okay. As I said previously, it's a new generation of board, and unlike everybody else that have been producing new boards and putting in LCD screens and things like that on, Tau went along a different route and realised that conserving power was fairly important. So they've built in all the features that are typical of a sliding gate motor. So everything is there. But they've negated the need for an LCD screen, and they've worked hard on making it solar friendly and solar ready. So you know, it's going to be a major benefit to us. You can see down the bottom here, you can actually see 2 to 3 terminals. That's where our solar goes in if we wish to. We do have to change one of the jumpers if we want to put solar in, but it all comes pre-wired for you, ready to go out of the box. So pretty much all you have to do is bolt it down and put your rack on, get your rack set, make sure your stops are there, and we're ready to go. You can see the programming button there. It's the top one. We've also got channel 1 and channel 2 of our built-in receiver. So you've got 2-channel receiver on board. Set of dip switches up the top. It is pre-wired, and it shows motor 1 and motor 2. You can actually use this as a slave or master-slave configuration. Right, so we've applied power, it powered up. You saw all the lights come on there and then switch off. That's more of its power conserving mode. That light flashing means simply that you do not have any transmitters or remote controls programmed into the unit as yet. So once we program some in, that will stop flashing, and we'll be ready to go. Programming is relatively simple. Essentially, you go into program mode. If your motor direction is correct, then pretty much you'll simply program and the job will be over. If your motor direction is incorrect, then we'll need to change the wires, but you're never going to know that until you first start to program. So power back on again, got our flashing light, there we go. So we've got no transmitters programmed in, and you can just see the gate behind there. Now the first movement is an open movement, so we need the gate to move to the left in the first movement when we program. If it doesn't move to the left, we're going to press the program button there, bring all the lights to life, and what have we got here? Thank you. Press and hold. Our gate, you can see it moving to the right there, it's closing, so our motor direction is incorrect. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to stop the unit. So all I've done there is I've pulled the fuse to remove the power, and we need to reverse our motor wires. Okay, there's no limit switch wires to reverse here, we simply need to reverse our motor wires. So we'll go through that process, then we can go back into programming. I guess if you had one wish, some of the boards nowadays simply have a switch to reverse motor polarity. We still have to reverse these motor wires on this one, so it's simply a matter of about 4 screws and just simply taking our motor wires and changing them from one side to the other. So we're reversing the polarity of the motor wires. It's not a big job. Take you around about 2 minutes, and then you can go back into programming with your motor direction correct, and that'll be a very, very simple procedure. You can see while we're doing that, you can see the 3 what we call potentiometers there, TRA, FR, TCA. They're your force control, your automatic close control, and things like that. So, and you've got a set of dip switches, so you can change it to suit different things. Turn automatic close on or off. How the photocells react and things like that. Okay, so we've changed our motor wires over. You can see the power coming back on there. Hopefully they'll zoom back out for us in a short. And this time what we're looking for the gate to open to the left. You can just see it there on the right hand corner of your screen. You should see it move to the left. So our lights are back up. And shortly we'll go in. There we go. So it's opening to the left. So it's going into the opening phase. Now it goes all the way to that opening stop. So it's going very, very slowly. It's searching for the opening stop. When it finds the opening stop, it will then start to measure from the opening stop to the closing stop. Once that's entered into its information, it stores it, and that's how it knows where those points are. There, once again, nice and slowly, it'll go and search for the close. This board continuously updates itself with changes in configuration. So if you get slight changes, it updates the information so as it can be better prepared to handle changes in temperature, things like that, changes in circumstances. So don't be concerned. This is not the normal speed of the motor. This is simply its programming speed. It's searching and counting. Once we hit the closing stop here, there we go. Okay, and that essentially is programming. We'll go through a full open maneuver. You'll note it's going a lot faster now. As we near the end, we'll go into slow down mode. There we go. Okay, and then a full closing maneuver. Once again, full speed. As we near the end, we'll go into slow down mode. There we go. Slows down and eases into that stop, just pulls back a little bit. So it searches for that stop again, and then it pulls back around about 10 millimeters, 10 to 15 millimeters. And we still have that flashing light simply because we have not programmed in a transmitter as yet. So we'll get to that shortly. But that was programming. It is as simple as that. The unit programs itself. You don't have to tell it anything. It knows everything. It learns everything just by you allowing it to run through a travelling phase. Okay, we're programming the remote here. Press the button once, press the transmitter once, and test our transmitter. Let's use our transmitter to stop at any point. Press our transmitter again, and we can close the gate. Once again, you see that limit actuator, it's not actually doing anything, it's from a different motor. And you also saw that little sort of 10 to 15 millimeter move back there. So that's really the MASTER18QR. What we're doing here is we're going to program the second channel. We're programming it in and using it as pedestrian mode. You see that? So we only open so far. Pedestrian mode is preset on this, and you can program a remote control into pedestrian mode. Press the remote again, and we close. So you've actually got three channels in some ways. You can use channel 1, which is your standard open mode. You can also program channel 2 and then wire that into anything that you wish, or you can program channel 3, which is pedestrian mode. So we'll just have a look at just the full run, and we'll go into slow down mode. There we go there, and easing in. It doesn't actually touch the opening stop at all. It stops short by about 50 millimeters. And then closing. Fabulous motor, like an ultra big version of the 5B, the 500 kilo version, which is I guess the main residential motor, whereas this is the main commercial industrial motor. And but as I said, very, very popular for people with larger gates. I think that's just about it for the Master18Q. Any other questions, please contact your branch or drop us a line at service@automaticsolutions.com.au. And thank you very much for watching.